Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shoulder Tap, the special NQ down 3% edition. I am Jack, joined by Mick, who's going to give us an update on how things are going with our funded traders. First, Mick, how is Mick the person doing today?
Very nice of you to ask, Jack. You're
Yeah.
such a sweetheart. I'm good. I had a busy morning like I usually do, but a lot of good conversations around a number of different topics. And happy to be a breathing and above ground. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I accidentally wore a green shirt under here, so I got to zip this up or it's going to be messing with the green screen. But besides that, doing well, staying busy. Sorry, no top quiz for a bit. Anyway, with that, Mick, how are our funded traders doing?
Well, another day, another dollar today, dollar lost. Jack, I mentioned Monday, things weren't going too well. I mentioned yesterday things weren't going too well. And today is certainly uh, an absolute bloodbath.
Okay.
There is so much red on the board from our live accounts, our XFAs, our funded traders as a whole. A lot of people down, and I think it's this directional move that we're seeing. And one of our most popular products that people trade. So it's been a very tough week. I myself am a little underwater in my personal account on a long that I took last week, which I was in the money on for a little bit, but taking some heat on it here, kind of at a puke point probably, but not too worried about it because don't have anything too big on. But all that being said, we do have some very exciting stuff. We're only going to feature two traders today on the cards. Before we get to those traders who actually have the largest P&Ls, and these are both live accounts, while we do have a lot of people getting kicked around today in the markets, we got some people that are really knocking it out of the frickin' park in a big way. New account balance highs we're seeing for one of them. Another one up close to 50 grand in their live account on their trading today. But before we get to that, shout out to Felipe up 3,900, Brian up 7,500, John G up 2,900, William R up 7,500, and Chi up 5,500. I've been reporting on Shane S, trader in XFAs, doing 5 XFAs. He snapped his losing streak. This was the guy 2 weeks ago, made 130 grand when he put up 26 grand in each one of his XFAs. He gave that back, almost all of it back, to the tune of 127,000 of the 130,000 on an 8-day losing streak in those XFAs. Snapped that losing streak on Monday. Made a little bit of money, about 4 grand, had a nice $55,000 winning day yesterday after putting up 11,000 in each one of those XFAs. Now he's back to $3,000 daily loss limit where he's down 3,100 in each one of those 5 XFAs. So, big swing of emotions here and P&Ls from Shane, one of the traders who got all the way up to the number 2 spot on the leaderboard and has kind of, trickled back. I'm sure yesterday put him back up a little bit higher on there. But this isn't about him. I wanted to share a story, but let's dive into Chung's card today. Chung is one of our live traders. His card is pretty short as far as information because I just wanted to talk about his live account, his trading activity, and most importantly, what he's doing today. So Chung's in a live account. Today is day 4. Of his first 3 days, he had daily loss limit, daily loss limit, daily loss limit. So guy started about with $16,000. He gave back 9,000 of that 16,000 in his first 3 days, which is a huge percent of his account balance and something that I would not encourage anybody to do. That's really poor money management on the first 3 days of trading, giving back 9 of 16,000, leaving you with 7,000 left. You could be in a scenario where if today and tomorrow were daily loss limits with slippage, that account's gone in 5 short days. So don't position yourself to be there. But today he's positioned himself very well, and I'm happy to share that he has at one point was up $45,000 in his live account. Trading around, he's up 42,000 before I turned my chair around and came onto this segment. We can't talk exactly about how our live traders are positioned specifically. But I think, for someone to hear that he's up 42 grand right now, you could
Not
put a
rocket
couple things.
surgery.
Yeah, you could put a couple things together. But what I'm pretty impressed with is he's got 13, not even 13 trades on the day, 13 round turns, not 10 round turns on the day. And he's got a 3 lot on right now. So this is someone who's not been, slapping on big size, 10 lots or 15 lots. He's been trading relatively small, playing the market very well and sticking to his convictions, and riding things out, which is really nice. What I like to see, what I've seen from Chung in the past, and even what we've seen from him on his 3 losing days prior to today's trading day. But I think as we look at the trade report, Jack, there's a little bit more to unpack here from a money management standpoint. And despite the last 3 days being, daily loss limit, daily loss limit, daily loss limit to lose $9,000, a little bit more than 9,000, more like 9,300 or 9,200. I know your mind or your eyes always go to P&L highs, all of which, his P&L highs were pretty good on those days that he took losses. So I think, there's probably, I'll throw the ball in your court now. See if there's anything you want to talk about there, because I certainly have opinions about leaving profits on the table and letting winning days turn into losing days. But I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. I see what you're talking about in that on all 3 of these previous days, Chung was flat and up 8,500, 2,200, and 4,500 to turn all of them into DLLs. I'm a little bit curious because, like, when I first saw this card and what he was up today, I thought, okay, this is someone who has a very big conviction to holding a huge short, and they got stopped out the first 3 days, and now they're getting paid on it. But there's a lot more trading to that here. So I'm interested to see when he's flat today, and we can talk about it, kind of what that looked like. I'd love to see the fills there.
Yeah, I can share those with you. We'll just keep them internal, which is all fine. But yeah, I'll share that with you.
But I see what you're saying. Also, I see people asking, what is rocket surgery that I mentioned? It's just like brain aeronomics. Anyway, Mick.
It's
So
not rocket science. Someone up big riding out a trade. You could put 2 and 2 together. Hope that's not divulging too much information. He's having a good day, but going back to those other days that weren't so good, part of me wants to. Well, I'm just going to do it, so I shouldn't say part of me. We're live. I'm rolling with it. We're on TV, Jack. It always pains me very, very much to see this activity on a live account, on an XFA, whatever it is, even in a trading combine. I mentioned Chung started with $16,000 in his account. Day one at one point, he got it up to $20,000. It is so important early on to lock in profits on your account. Build your cushion. Start small. Keep yourself that much further away from the max loss limit. And by golly, don't turn a big winning day into a big losing day. I mean, day one, we're talking about, a $7,700, $7,600 swing. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And I know Chung's got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, those, especially yesterday. Now, granted, you shouldn't be risking it. So the account's at 10, 13, 16 3 days ago. You shouldn't be risking $3,000 when you're 16K anyway, but then not when you're 13 and not when you're at 10. But especially the swing yesterday, because we can see that he was flat up $8,500. I mean, at that point, you got to set a stop for yourself, like a stop for the day that is not the DLL, right? I mean, on a 10K starting the day, he swung more than that size from a flat position, $11,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or that's that's more than 100% of your account. Um, I don't know what else to say besides you can't be doing that. It's way too big.
You can do it, but you're not going to get anything from it. If you want to get something from your trading, and we all should be here to get something from our trading, whether it's developing skills that you've already got or finding new skills, money management, like I talk about this every once in a while, there, any goofball out there can find some short-term success trading. Oh,
Mhm.
I pop a shot, I have a big day, and then I bleed it out over the next, X amount of days or whatever. It's people have said it in this industry, like, and someone mentioned it to Hogue. I like this phrase. It is the hardest way to make easy money. Like I said, any
Mhm.
goofball can make money in this industry, but keeping it's a whole nother thing, and then making it and continuing to build upon it. Now, I'm very happy for Chung. He's one of those traders that, needs a $45,000 winning day to, keep things up. He's in a live account, though. I mean, we called him up to live because he does have a good eye for the markets where he can take big bites out of the markets. It's just keeping it as an area that he's got for improvement. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of people out there. I've been there myself. Like, I had to do some serious soul searching. Everybody needs to do that. And everybody needs to be realistic with themselves about, like, hey, I can't keep going on like this. I talk about Shane, someone who got up to number 2 on our leaderboard because he had that big day. He almost gave that all back over 8 days. So, you know,
Were
it
you?
doesn't take. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I think this is a good time to discuss. I think folks just see this in nominal dollars terms as opposed to the size of the account. That's something that keeps on happening again and again in these cards. And everybody should know that not just in trading, in anything in life, if I give you a certain amount of money and say double it, there is no non extremely risky way to do that in one day. And you're right. You could get lucky. Reminds me, we talked about, the Forex places that offer like 500 to 1 leverage. Why do they do that? Well, because with 500 to 1 leverage, you're never, the odds just don't work out on it. Like, even if you get lucky once, you can't consistent, like, somebody growing a $10,000 account to $100,000 to, or whatever their goal is on that can only be done in a short time frame by doing things that are gambling, right?
And unsustainable.
Not sustainable in the long run because you will get burnt seeking those returns at a certain point. There's a reason you don't see, even at the end of the Big Short where they showed Michael Burry's position, like the big thing, it was like up 500% or something. It wasn't up 10,000%, right?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, please, because you just can't do it. It doesn't work.
Yes. And about, like, regarding having, a big winning day and getting, lucky with profits and stuff like that, you're almost worse off if that happens to you as opposed to doing it through consistent smaller profitability. Now, based on your risk tolerance, like, you're going to have bigger days if you take more risk and let the market go in your favor. But I mean, for someone who, puts up a big winning day and they're like, oh my gosh, that was really easy, like, you're going to be that much worse off down the road thinking that that can be, a regular occurrence and thinking that the money comes that easy. Because, I mean, it doesn't. And that puts you in the wrong frame of mind where you're not playing defense and you're just looking for offense. This is, capital preservation is defense. And, making money, being offensive is, a
Yeah.
byproduct of finding good trades. So I think, I've kind of exhausted my talking points on this here. This is a shout out for Chung. I'm very happy for him. Very few things get me as excited as, seeing someone that's up 45 grand in their live account. Cause that's just a really, really big day. I myself have never had that large of a winning day. So big shout out to you. Um,
All right. Well, we'll move on to we got who next? Joanna? Joanne?
Joanne, yes, Joanne.
Hey.
Someone. someone else, while I said it was a bloodbath today on the funded trader side of things, Joanne is one of the exceptions. Now, this card I wanted to get to yesterday. So we weren't able to get to it yesterday. Using it today. The metrics are a little out of date only because she's like on day 12 now, and she had a $2,000 winning day yesterday. I was very happy for her yesterday. At one point, she was up $6,000 on the day yesterday, ended the day up 2,000. Would have loved to have seen her lock in a little bit more of that $6,000 winning day yesterday. But I was cheering her on yesterday because she snapped a 3-day $10,000 losing streak yesterday when she put up the $2,000. So she definitely needed the $6,000 or the $2,000 yesterday. But I'm very, very happy to share that she's been on the right side of the market today. She's flat right now, and she's up 16,700 in her live account to bring this account balance of hers since she started up to a new account balance high, north of 20 grand.
Awesome.
So I'm very happy for her. And, I think she needed yesterday. She needed today because she's been struggling in this live account. Almost every single losing.
I see a little more of kind of what we saw. Like, once again, there's a few days that are kind of crushing in that flat up a bunch of money to the DLL the same day. If there's, I guess the one piece of advice for everyone from this day is no matter how much money you're up, think about the swings. It's still real money and how much you want to risk once you're out of the trade.
Let's do the math on these swings from P&L high to ending P&L on the losing days where just daily loss limits were hit. I mean, we've got a $7,900 swing on day 2 in the account from the high. July 11th was really bad. That's $11,500 swing. She was up $6,800 and turned it into a $4,700 losing day. That's really
There's a 13K one too.
I would have been talking about her with new account balance highs a long time ago if we had just locked in 50%. So Joanne, when I talk about 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or locking in at least half of your profits on significant winning days, go in there, do the math. And for anybody listening, do the math on your trade reports and figure out where you would be if you just locked in half of your profitable days. If you let that profitable day turn into a negative day. Or hit zero. I mean, do the math. That is the kind of analysis that should change your strategy going forward if you're able to separate doing what you want to do with what you should be doing. And the best traders are always going to go to the side of this is what I should be doing versus what I want to be doing. I still like, S&P's rallying. I want to go long, but for whatever reason, I'm not going to take that, and I'm just going to, I'm going to be disciplined, stick to my strategy, what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm right, but it's outside of my strategy. I'm going to stick to my strategy and be disciplined.
I think, one thing too is if you have one of these things where you're kind of over leveraged in doing something and you get away with it and have a huge day, you've already won. All right. It's kind of like, if you're going to keep on trying to do it, I mean, just trade small and take that money, right? I mean, to do it again is like, running it back and Russian roulette, right? Like, you've already won. Don't do it again. Yeah. That's all I'll say about that. But
yeah, you got to be able to say, ooh, I got away with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We all get lucky from time to time.
Hugely. Well, glad to hear Joanna's up today.
Staying lucky, though.
Yeah. Glad to hear she's up today. Hope the account balance high, the current one, grows. And we just got the 2 cards today, right?
2 cards, yes. Now we'll clear a little space for our next guest.
Indeed. All right, we got David Green's coming in for group coaching next with the Dolby man himself. Always good to see them. So stick around. We'll be right back after this. Mick, thanks so much for hanging out to talk some risk for a few minutes.
You betcha. Thanks. Have a great trading day. Be safe, everybody.
We'll be back right after this break. See you then with group coaching.